Does he still have the wobble in his throw?
It's been one practice, and the wobble is something you can see better in slow motion, but yes, pretty much, yes.
Tell me what the wobble is.
It's just not a perfect spiral. It just comes out a little bit of, it's like a little bit of like a through the air, like I don't know. It just kind of flutters. The tip, can't really describe it very well, but instead of, I'm going to stop gesturing. But anyway, it just kind of comes out funky, and it's a little bit harder to catch. And last year, people were focused on it. And I think one thing that was tough about it was wobbling and it was very fast. There was a lot of velocity. And I think those two things made it tough for everyone on the team to catch. So yeah, the wobble's still there. And when he misses pretty wildly. But to his credit, he was 17 to 20 in this last practice. And what he was not, the other thing he did last year was he would throw the short passes as hard as he could. Remember that?
Yes.
Like a slant. He would throw it as hard as he could. It's like, he doesn't do that anymore. He was actually throwing the check downs and the short passes with touch. So the wobble wasn't as big of a factor. And another thing about the wobble, Peyton Manning threw with the wobble, and he talked about it. He said, first of all, it doesn't really matter. As long as it gets to the right spot, the guys can catch it. And what's nice is defensive players have a tough time catching it because they don't have the best hands to begin with. So it leads to a lot of dropped interceptions. That was him rationalizing it. So some pretty great quarterbacks have had a wobble.
And this was Peyton Manning talking.
Yes. And didn't you tell me that Steve Young was working on his spiral for a long time?
Oh, God. I recommend Steve Young's autobiography. It's really a good book. And he talked about how he really had to adjust holding the ball and throwing it. When he came to the Niners, he was still working on it.
Yeah, I think this is going to take some time for Trey Lance. But there's other things that he needed to work on too, like the touch that he seems to have improved on. And I want to give him credit for that. Like, remember last year, there was one thing that was really problematic for him, throwing over the middle. Because I don't know if you remember, he would miss high a lot. He would sail passes over the middle, miss high, and that's how he would get intercepted by safeties. That 15-yard pass over the middle is the Jimmy Garoppolo. It's his best throw, and it's a big part of the Niners offense. The throw to the receiver moving, laterally behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. Jimmy really does a good job with that. You got to throw to a guy in stride, and you got to put it over the linebacker so you don't get if you miss low, you get intercepted by the linebackers. If you miss high, you get intercepted by the safeties. It's a tough throw. Kyle asked Trey to throw that pass 7 times in this practice. I was a little frazzled, and I didn't notice it, but I just looked. 7 times, he hit 6 of them. He was nailing it. And that's a throw he was not confident with last year. So I do think he's making strides, even though he still has a wobble.
I wanted to ask you more about the wobble.
Yes.
Is the wobble on a pass, let's say a 20-yard pass, is it something that happens once? It wobbles once, or is it continuous throughout the trajectory?
I would say it's something once. I would say it's once. If it's not continuous, it's just like, I would say once. And it's something you can see better in slow motion. Something you can see really well in slow motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't think I know that you've always been a big fan of Trey Lance, and you think you have the suspicion he'll do very well. And if he does, you don't think this wobble is going to be an issue?
I don't. Now it's not ideal. And in the offseason last year, I saw Justin Herbert in person, and I could really see the difference. That guy's a top 5 quarterback in the league, top 8. And his throws are perfect spirals every time. He looks like a machine. Trey Lance isn't that kind of quarterback, but he has a totally different skill set. He's a mobile quarterback. The Niners knew that about him. And when you get him outside the pocket on the perimeter, as a thrower and as a runner, he's going to be extremely dangerous. In the pocket, I think you're looking for good, not great. You're looking for good. And so is he going to be a little inaccurate at times? Probably. Is he going to have some wobbles at times? Yeah. But he'll be good enough in the pocket, like Russell Wilson, hopefully for the Niners' sake, that when you get him out in the perimeter, all those big plays happen and you can live with whatever happens in the pocket. I think that's the idea.
When you say they would like him to be good in the pocket, is Jimmy good in the pocket?
Yeah. Not to me. I mean, he turns the ball over too much. He turns the ball over too much. He's accurate enough, though. His completion percentage is pretty high. Let's call him good. Yeah, fine. He's good in the pocket. Not great. But if Trey Lance could be a little less accurate, but a little bit more careful with the football, I think the Niners would take that.
Yes.
Take that. Especially if he gives them big plays when he gets out. He has to give them big plays. And he did in small sample sizes last year. I'm talking about like not just scrambling, but when they do play action and roll them all the way out. when he stops and is ready to deliver, can he throw some 70-yard passes for touchdowns? He did last year. Jimmy wouldn't even look that way. And that's a big part. That's a part of the offense that I think can be unlocked. So we'll see. If it wobbles when he throws a 70-yard touchdown, no one should really care.
As long as the guy catches it and goes
As long
in.
as the guy catches it, yeah.
And what you're saying is Jimmy wouldn't even attempt that.
He wouldn't even look. I don't even know if Kyle would call it for him. Yeah.
I see. So again, we always come back to what Bill Walsh said, the quarterback defines the limit of my offense. And what they're hoping with the Niners is that the limit rises because Trey Lance has so many more skills than Jimmy.
Yeah, it seems like he's already the kind of quarterback who will check the ball down. Jimmy doesn't like to do that. Jimmy thinks he's Brett Favre or something, even though he doesn't go downfield. Trey Lance, I mean, this week he was checking the ball down relentlessly. He wasn't forcing it. It's just practice. But there are a lot of things he does well that can offset the fact that he throws kind of a funky ball.
There are certain quarterbacks when you look at them, when they throw, their motion is beautiful. Yeah. They look like a quarterback. Is he one of those? Like, no. Trey is not one of those.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Justin Herbert is one of those. Tom Brady is one of those.
Yes,
but
he is.
I think, again, like when you have a mobile quarterback who's going to run 6-7 times a game, you're looking for a quarterback whose arm is, I mean, not better than good enough, but good enough. I think some people with Lamar Jackson wonder, is that even good enough with Lamar Jackson, how he throws? Some people say no. But I
don't like him.
Yeah, I mean, some people say no with Lamar Jackson. So I think Trey Lance can be a better thrower than Lamar Jackson. I think he's got a much bigger arm than Lamar Jackson. I think he can be better than that. I think he can be a better thrower than Colin Kaepernick was. I think he can be sort of on the Russell Wilson level. Russell Wilson isn't great from the pocket, but he's good. He might be very good from the pocket. And once he can scramble around a little bit or get outside the pocket, he'll kill you. He'll kill you.
You know, he's getting a little older now, Russell, but you know that the Niners played Seattle a lot, twice a year, and I saw him a lot, and I still see him a lot. Iggy, I love to watch him work, Wilson. I love to watch him work. He is so interesting and exciting.
What do you like about him?
First of all, he has a great arm.
He does.
He has a great arm.
He does.
Also, the play is never over.
Yep.
The play is never over.
Yep.
I just love. Now, again, he's slowing down.
Yes.
But I'm saying when he was the best of Russell Wilson, God, was he exciting.
But the thing about Wilson is he was, even at his best, he had some limitations in the pocket because he's 5'10" or 6 feet, whatever. He can't really see over the line. He's not great at throwing over the middle of the field. Some of his so he was good enough. He was certainly good enough in the pocket, but he was so great outside the pocket that together he's really hard to contain. He's really hard to defend. And it's like, even if he had a bad quarter or he was losing at halftime, you had a feeling he was going to have 2 or 3 amazing plays at some point in that game that would give the Seahawks a chance to win. Always.
And having a bad quarter or a bad half never bothered him.
No. Supremely confident.
Yeah. He's like Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry can miss 10 shots in a row. He doesn't care.
Yes.
He'll make the 11th. And he has that. It's a wonderful mentality that I think they share.
Yeah, and Trey Lance, from what I've seen in practice, he'll have a pass that comes out totally funky. It's got a wobble. He misses. He'll hit the next 6 throws. He seems very confident in himself. And the one thing you said about Wilson, the play's never over. That's what I'm so excited to watch with Trey Lance. He's really hard to sack. And he's very quick for a guy who's 6'4", 230. He's much quicker than Colin Kaepernick was. Kaepernick, once he got his full stride going, was probably faster than Trey Lance. But Trey Lance just moving in the pocket and avoiding people. I didn't think Colin Kaepernick was particularly good at that. This guy's really good at that. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you about Colin. Once he got going, boy, he was a beautiful runner. Beautiful runner. Yep. But there's a difference between speed and quickness.
Yep. And Lance has he has the quickness of a guy much smaller than him. Yeah. So the wobble will be something to watch for, though.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll take some videos in slow motion. Seriously, at practice on Wednesday.
I would love to see it. I would love to know what it looks like.
The iPhone lets you film in slow motion. So I will film his passes in slow motion as he warms up and just see how many of them have a distinct wobble. Something you can see.
Okay.
Wobblegate. Wobblegate. What you talking about? Willis says that they knock you for talking to your dad on the show. Shouldn't that be a more positive look than negative? Yeah, it's like, oh, Grant and his dad have such a great relationship. How dare they? There goes Grant with his dad.
Oh, well, you know what a lot of people said?
What?
People who don't watch this weekly said,
Yeah.
Grant was in such bad shape. He had to bring his dad on to defend him. I've been doing this show for years with
Yeah.
Grant. So that was Iggy, there is so much stuff on Twitter where people really don't know what they're talking about.
And they just go for it.
They just go for it. It's like you had to
They just
bring
go
your
for it.
dad on. What about the other times I was on?
Now, we normally do our show on Tuesday, but last Tuesday couldn't do it because practice. Then Wednesday, meeting with John Lynch. A lot happened. So we did our show on Thursday. Now we're back on Tuesday. So
We're back on
that's what
Tuesday.
happened. Cabo Rojo says, you're a complete professional, Grant. And as someone that's a legacy in my industry as well, I get it. Props to Lowell for praising Grant's ability to progress new sports media. Much love to you too. Wow. Thank you so much. That was very nice. Let me see if there's any more. There might not be.
I had something I wanted to add
Please do.
about you. I had it on my notes, but I forgot to do it.
Okay.
Before Iggy got this gig with Fan House in the Sports Illustrated Network,
Fan Nation,
whatever it's
Yeah.
called. I'm sorry, Fan Nation. I'm sorry.
That was AOL, right? Fan House? Yeah.
Fan Nation. He wrote for SportsIllustrated.com. I didn't know the people there.
I did.
He wrote some beautiful features, and one he got paid a lot of money for. How much did you get paid, Iggy, for that one?
I got paid $3,000 for one and $1,500 for the other. I was 27 when I got paid $3,000 for one article. I was over there getting like $2,000 a month at the SI. It's like I felt that was heady stuff. Yeah, 27.
Here's what I want to say.
Yeah.
You people will probably never know it because Grant now does this for him and he doesn't do writing anymore. But I was thinking, who are the really good sports feature writers in the Bay Area? I'm not talking about beat writers who cover a team, and I'm not talking about columnists. I'm strictly talking about feature writers. And there are three. Danny Brown at The Athletic. If you don't know him, he writes on Angel. You
really
agree he's wonderful, right, Iggy?
He's phenomenal. He's great. Yes. Used to cover the 49ers.
Yeah, and used to work at the Press Democrat.
Yes.
And Brian Murphy, who doesn't write anymore. He's on KNBR, the Murphy.
Used to cover the Niners, used to work at the Press Democrat. Yep.
Yes. Brian Murphy is a gorgeous writer. And it's a loss to the Bay Area that he's not writing because, he's making a lot more money on the radio and he's a lot more famous, but what a talent. And what I want to say is, in terms of feature writing, Iggy is at the level of Danny and Murph.
Well, thank you very much. Another person I like who's my age and an up-and-comer, Connor Letourneau. He's a really good feature writer. He's good.
You're right. Connor,
Connor.
I'm sorry I left you out.
Connor's really good.
He's in fact, I like his writing so much. Occasionally I'll drop him a note and say, really nice piece today, Connor.
Yeah, he's really good. I've told him that to his face before too, but I just want to say that. Connor's terrific. Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it.
Sure.